Hey friends, you're watching BrainStormAcres. I'm Henry. I feel like I've lived in this car for a week. Let me tell you how we got here. Irene had a new prescription ready the end of last week. I went down to pick it up because they said it was ready. The only problem was it wasn't ready. And it wasn't ready for a very interesting reason. It seems that somebody, somehow, somewhere, screwed up the portal for running these prescriptions through insurance programs. So they couldn't actually dispense prescriptions unless you were willing to pay full price for the medication. Well, the problem with that is a lot of these medications are ridiculous. I mean, really ridiculous. I have prescriptions that I pay about $5 a month for. Actually, a little less than $5. But if I were to pay full retail price, I'd be paying over $50. Well, that's not a whole lot to people who are fully employed and continuing to work and so on. But if you're living on a fixed income like we are, it makes a big difference. Well, Irene's prescription was a lot more expensive. Over $400. That's just not in the budget. And that's not good. But when I talked with the pharmacist, they said, oh, well, the system's coming back up. Give us a day or two and we'll be able to fill your prescription, no problem. I waited 4 days. And I contacted the pharmacy and they said, yes, we have your prescription. It's all ready to go. There's a lot of ways to not tell the truth, and that's one of them. So it's a 1-hour drive down to the pharmacy. Keep in mind, I've already done that twice. So I've already done, about 200 miles trying to pick up this one prescription. It's very important. It's not something that's really an option. But I went down today to pick it up because it was ready. So they said. Well, I got down there and guess what? They couldn't find the prescription. What? I just talked to you and you had the prescription. Well, it's not in our system anymore. Huh. Well, we got that straightened out. And then the person said, oh, well, we can't run this because the particular insurance program that you are using isn't yet back online. What? You could have told me that when I called you 2 hours ago. Well, there was another alternative that we could use, so that's what I said we'd do. How much is the prescription going to be? Well, I can't tell until I fill it. Oh. I said, all right, go ahead and fill it. She said, well, we're getting ready to close for lunch. So it's going to be about an hour before we're going to be able to fill it. Okay, I'll wait. So I waited. What would you expect would happen next? Well, of course, they didn't actually have the full complement of Irene's medication. So I had to settle for 1/3 of her normal prescription. That means I get to go down again in another week. Another 100 miles round trip. And another opportunity for them to not have the prescription ready, or not be able to dispense it, or any one of a number of things. Still, it's got to be done. Well, I hadn't planned to be sitting here in the car at almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I left this morning at 11 to take a package to the post office for Irene. I got that done and then headed down to the pharmacy. I just got back. I had other plans. Here, I'll show you what I planned to do. I'd actually planned to do some cleanup here in this cabinet. And there is the hole that I'm not supposed to have open to people stick their fingers in. So I have to go ahead and get that closed out. My plan had been to get that closed out today, but obviously that didn't get done. The batteries are doing great. All three are fully charged. I did run the generator for about an hour and a half today because we had an awful lot of solar going on that was heating up the greenhouse. And I haven't really checked to see how much power is being consumed now by that fan in the greenhouse. So I wanted to make sure that we didn't run things down flat. Now this is what I plan to do today primarily. I've collected together all the bits and pieces of electronics that are used out here in the utility building for our solar system. And I don't like it being down here, and I don't want it being all over the place, so my plan is to mount it up there over the window. There's plenty of room, and that'll keep the cables up and out of the way. Oh, by the way, it's also going to help make sure there's no water that gets on any of this stuff. One of the things I need to do with this wiring here is bring a conduit up to the bottom of this charge controller for the what actually is high voltage, because the voltage can be over 50 volts on these wires. So I need to make sure that it's kept separate from this data cable here. So I'll have a separate piece of conduit that will go in right here to run that data cable. I have the same thing on both of the other two solar charge controllers. I have a combiner that combines multiple solar panels together and then supplies that to the system. Right now I have 2 sets of panels going into this combiner. I have 2 more sets I could put in, but I have to double check to see how much current will come out, that is how much power, so I don't overwhelm the charge controller. Well, I think I have less than a day's worth of work to do to get this solar system all buttoned up, but as you can tell, my plan for today, the entire afternoon, was to work on the solar system here and the electronics that I use to monitor it and run the Starlink internet service. That didn't happen. It's not going to happen. It's time for me to go fix some dinner. As you might be able to tell, I'm a little frustrated. It's not because I had to go pick up a prescription. That's part of life. But part of life when you live off-grid and rural America should not be that you get told one thing by a pharmacy only to go find out that it was not the truth. That's a problem. I don't know what to do about it. There's really nobody to complain to. Most of these pharmacies have contract pharmacists working for them. They don't actually work for the company. So you got to do what you can do. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications, because we've got a lot more stuff going on. Irene's been down in the studio most of the afternoon. She's getting a lot of the jewelry that went to the last show re-cleaned because things tarnish. And she's taking inventory. Oh, by the way, she also runs a newsletter for her business, and she's getting that put together today as well. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye. Hey, don't forget to brainstorm. We are, as usual,